Welcome to another edition of Conversations with the Experts. It's a real pleasure today to talk with Seth Cohen, who has founded 11 Canterbury, which has given me the opportunity to meet so many people. So we're talking about change today. Um, Seth, yeah, how did you decide to make a kind of a giant change from a huge international bank to being an entrepreneur?
Well, Dan, I had always been an entrepreneur, either in my mind or in little projects and engagements that I did along the way. Starting in college, um, my friends and I ran a jelly bean store. I founded the pay for pound laundry at my university and always envisioned myself doing entrepreneurial things. Then real life hit, and I needed to get a job after college. And for the next 25 or so years, um, I had a great career in banking. The banks gave me everything I needed to have a rewarding career, and including good compensation and an opportunity to live overseas. And after a while, it's just difficult to give that up. I was appointed head of group offshoring at UBS at the beginning of 2005. That was a true entrepreneurial opportunity. I think I was the entrepreneur in residence at the bank for a number of years, having created a new business line in the foreign exchange business and having been working on a potential global custody acquisition before 2005. So when this opportunity came up, the bank selected me, and I had so much fun actually building a startup from within a big organization, being able to tap almost anyone in the organization that saw themselves potentially interested in this new role, and able to go out and build service centers and hire executives and build management teams and marketing plans and operating budgets. So I decided after that, if I could do it for UBS, I could do it for Seth Cohen and his family. So I left the bank, and I started 11 Canterbury a year later.
Did it go as you expected?
No. uh, Probably in 2007, a year and a half before I actually left the bank, I had already been thinking about not if I would leave, but how. Called a family meeting. And in that family meeting, I let people, my kids and my wife, know that I was thinking of leaving. I had all types of spreadsheets set up to be able to convince people that even if I left the bank, that everyone would be okay. Kids could go to college. We could still be in our big house. And with that blessing, I eventually decided to leave the bank. A couple of years into my new venture, things weren't going too well. We were paying salaries out of our checking account. We really weren't making any money. And candidly, I really wasn't having a good time. I think I was extremely disappointed that the world wasn't waiting for my idea, as of course I thought it would be. So I thought about actually packing it in. And had spoken to some of my mentors, had even spoken to a headhunter, had even drafted a letter on email that I was going to send to my old boss, potentially asking for my job back. This was about 4 years into 11 Canterbury. And before I sent it, I called another family meeting. And at this family meeting, I passed around a draft of the email that I was intending to send to UBS. And I'm proud to say that my kids were apoplectic. They couldn't believe that I was going to throw in the towel, particularly after all of the times in their life when I told them that when the going gets tough, you got to put your head down and power through it. And they convinced me that I needed to take some of my own medicine. So put away the draft email, came up with a different plan on how to attack my business at 11 Canterbury, learned how to say no to certain lines of business and how to say yes to other lines of business. And within a couple of years, we were on the road to success. And that success has just grown. And the fact that it was so difficult in coming is one of the reasons why it feels so good to me now.
Feels good. Well, I mean, it's interesting that you had family meetings. I think I've told you we had a little bit younger children. We have family meetings too, but the way we do it is we have a representative democracy, and I am the representative of the children. It does seem that part of the secret is staying focused and engaged, and I mean through a long slog. But I think the other thing was you somehow built a big asset of talented people in the network, and when the right opportunity came to utilize the talents and the demographics of the people you have, you seize that opportunity, and I mean, not everybody would be open. That wasn't, I think, a lot of the work in 11 Canterbury as an expert witness, which wasn't the idea when you started, but you pivoted pretty quickly to doing that.
So I'll just unpack a few of the elements of your comment. The way to attract great people is essentially to treat them with the respect that they feel they're due. And the 3,000 or so people that we have in our network today, the vast majority of them held big, important roles in their own careers and were very successful in their own right. They're accustomed to transparency. They're accustomed to people that tell them not necessarily what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And when it comes to this type of transition to the second career, even the presidents of companies are rookies when it comes to how to extend to their second act or their third act. In terms of expert witness and other things, I can't really take a lot of credit for thinking about the lines of business that have made us a success today. I really thought about creating a network kind of based on trust and goodwill, and then opportunities presented themselves. Some came almost by mistake. Others came because of a lunch or a dinner or an article that I read, and we had a few other lucky breaks. The secret was recognizing the opportunity And the other secret is understanding that there might be 50 opportunities and only 3 or 4 of them I was able to do simultaneously. And so being able to say no to a lot of things and say yes to a few things. And it happened that the yeses turned out to be the right yeses. And that led us into a business where we're growing, like a weed.
Well, it's not always that easy figuring out which ones are the right yeses, but it seems to have worked well. So you look happy, you look successful. So tell me, how does that success in your business career compare to being a grandfather, Seth?
Well, uh, at 11 Canterbury, people seek my advice. I guess because over the last almost 15 years, uh, I've probably spoken with thousands of very senior executives who are in a transition in their careers and are looking for advice and guidance on how to make that transition. As a grandfather, I understand that while I might have a lot of opinions, um, I need to let my kids build their own families and their own lives in their own way. So my advice is always there, but probably less taken than I would like. However, if I think back to when Dory and I were the age of our kids and we were just having kids, we felt we knew exactly what to do as well, and probably didn't welcome a lot of advice from our parents either.
Sounds great. It's wonderful talking with you, Seth. I think we could have another one of these conversations. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
It's my pleasure, Dan. Thank you for having me.
Okay.